This next slide is another major key to our success in building a great property portfolio. These are the 6 most important rules I abide by when buying buy-to-lets. First, capacity. The property must be a 3 or 4 bed house. We are aiming for long-term families in our properties to reduce the risk of transiency. And we do not want to buy flats. So what do I mean by this issue of transiency and not buying flats? Well, let's say someone moves into a 2-bed house or flat and they meet their future partner and they move into a new house together, and then a year down the line they're having a child and the house they're in is going to be too small for the family they're planning to have. So we want to be eliminating the risk of this problem occurring. The average tenant change with family lets costs £1,500 by the time you've paid for any void period you've got, by the time you've paid for the new tenant find fee or any titivating you need to do. Sometimes it's £0, sometimes it's £3,000, but on average it's £1,500. You know, if you buy a property where a tenant on average changed once a year, over a decade that's a £15,000 expense. If you've got 10 of those, it's now £150,000 a decade. That's a major problem. We want what I call lifers in our properties. Families that love the location, the children in the local secondary school, and they love living there and want to live there forever. Lifers, most of the time, tend to treat the property like they own it. If the door handle breaks, they fix it, and the walls need painting, they ring you and ask, do you mind if I paint the walls? And we'll be saying, no, that's fine, here's the paint, off you go. So we're saving on transiency costs and on maintenance costs. The next is city. House price trends in our chosen investment areas need to have had good growth over the last 2 years or so. This is an investment as well. We do not want to be choosing a property using our hearts. If the numbers work and we've abided by these rules, that's it. There's no reason why it wouldn't be a great investment. You do not want to be turning down a great investment opportunity due to the colour of the walls or carpet being a strange colour or the garden being a strange shape. If the numbers work, that is what's most important for us. This next point is check. Before we even purchase the property, we will be sending out an advert in the local newspaper of the property, and we must receive at least 10 replies from the advert in a week. If we don't buy. It does not matter if it ticks all the other boxes of these rules. If it doesn't tick this one, we walk away. Capital. Over the last 85 years, the property market in the UK is going up at 7.9% per annum on average. So we want to be aiming for around the national average. To ensure capital growth, there are a few mini rules I abide by. The property must be within a 2-mile radius of a secondary school with an Ofsted report of good or outstanding. It must have a great road network and public transport network, and finally must be close to a town or city. The 5th rule is cash flow. There must always be positive cash flow. We want profit. After mortgage, maintenance, insurance and letting agency fees have been deducted, there needs to be profit. We want this figure to be as high as possible, right? But with assuming the worst case scenario, we are going to assume that the property is empty for a month. So the total profit over 11 months needs to be enough to cover the 12 months costs where it is not tenanted. So here is the calculation we use to make sure profits are enough, which is the profit multiplied by 11, and what this equals must be higher than 1 month's rent. If it isn't, we leave the deal. No ifs or buts. This is so important. And finally, our last rule is contingency. I advise to always keep 4.5% of the investment money for contingency. That way, we always have money for the what ifs. You know, what if the boiler breaks? What if the tenant hasn't been paying the rent? And therefore, we feel safe in our investing.